even
best
after
I
like
can.
living in the Midwest.
Yeah, living in the Midwest. Nah, I was never like a huge thing for me. Just never really. My parents and family are not big gun people, and it never came up. I wasn't like a Boy Scout or anything, so I never did any of those trainings that you might get. My brother was a Boy Scout, so he shot a gun before. But
I don't think I was a Boy Scout in California, and they didn't do guns
oh
there.
really? I thought that
California
was
Yeah.
yeah.
That was a while,
Not in our
ago.
state. Nah, even a while. Even when we were kids, it was still this way.
Okay. But yeah,
I mean that makes sense. Yeah.
The most I have for like gun knowledge, I mean honestly, like Hunt Showdown, like that's where we have the the older guns. It's like, oh yeah, Winfield, Mosin, I don't know, just I start naming off random guns, and those are cool. But
Boast.
like I know what a lever action rifle is from that game. That's pretty much
Yeah.
it.
Or Red Dead Redemption or Call of Duty. Or
Oh
something.
yeah, you could do that. Yep.
Or
Yeah.
the Sharps rifle.
Dude,
from
Red Dead
that game.
Redemption 2 is real good with guns. I love going to the
Yeah,
gun
that's
store and
amazing.
flipping the pages and be like, "Ooh, look at all
Yeah.
these things I can't afford."
Yeah, that was a really good game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So-
I think the time. I think the time is now. To if I was you, Sean, as your brother, I would.
Time is now.
Because I'll tell you what it was. And I don't want to try and get political again, but this is, I think, outside of it. But Joe Biden the other day, yesterday or Friday, whenever it was, mentioned the Armageddon of nuclear war is closer now than ever before. And I saw that and I said, you know what? I'm just gonna go buy the pistol that I've been thinking about for a while. Because why not, right? Why I don't want to. I
Might
don't
as
want
well.
the nuke. Yeah, I don't want the nuke to hit L.A. and me. Well, if I didn't die.
Well, the
You
nuke
know-
hits LA, you're dead.
I don't know.
Like right now.
40, 50 miles away, depending on the size of the nuke, I think.
Yeah.
And if I knew 10, like I got a 10-minute
Listen,
warning.
I think if that, I
You
think
don't have a
nowadays,
basement,
and
that's the downside.
yeah, there's no basements in California.
no.
I honestly, the last nuclear bomb that was actually dropped and tested, compared to right now, the ones we could make now would just wipe 100-mile square radius off the face of the earth. I think.
No, actually, most nuclear weapons are. So the biggest one we created, right? Humanity
the Tsar
is
bomb.
the Tsar Bomba, which was about 100 miles. But that was in diameter, I believe. It was not. It was about a 50-mile radius, which is still a fuck ton. But it's
Well,
also
that's exactly what I just said. It was 100 miles.
massive bomb.
Or did I say 100 square
was-
miles?
it was
Well,
the-
and
it
it's
was
not
the-
like that space was all obliterated, right?
Yeah.
If you were 60 miles away, if you were outside, you'd probably be third-degree burns, right? But I'm not
Which is
saying
hard to survive from when you have no hospitals that are operational.
Yeah.
like well, let's say a nuke hit LA right now. I'm in my room, right? I am, if it's not the Tsar bomb, right? Then I am. Things are bad, right? A huge shockwave probably knocks down the roof. Who knows? But maybe I have cancer from the radiation instantly. But I get in the Benz, drive to Vegas. I live out my cancer days for another 10 years in Mad Max land.
Well, here's the
That's
thing
fine by me.
is, here's the thing is the Benz probably won't work. That's actually the bigger thing that scares me more. It's not so much the nukes, it's the EMP blast from that, which is going to knock out everything. So communication systems out.
Yeah,
Like
and
some
even my Nova
communication
wouldn't work,
systems?
which is the sad part. 'Cause the
Really,
battery.
your Nova?
Well, it has battery.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a battery should be fine. It's just any computer systems.
Oh yeah, well then the Nova's,
So then you will be Mad Max
oh
driving
yeah,
the Nova.
for sure. Well, that's why those cars are in the movies, right? They don't have computers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So if,
I guess that's true.
there's probably, there may be like something.
I think
in there.
unintentionally that's why
also
they're
it's,
in the
it's
movie.
pretty cool, right? So
Yeah, it's just
But-
a cool look. Yeah.
I think
But
I have
you
a
can only
better
get
shot
10
than
miles.
most.
Yeah. You can only get 10 miles in it though, because
Yeah,
Right.
you wouldn't be able to make it to
Gas would run
Vegas in
out.
one tank.
exactly. Yeah.
As long
And
as
you
I
know
could
what? You
get
can't
out,
get gas anywhere because everything's controlled by computers there.
yeah. As long as I could get out, because I mean, if that happened, it's gonna be all hell's gonna break loose. I mean, it's gonna be
Pandemonium,
anarchy, right? So as long as I could get out of the anarchy zone and kind of take some time to think about my plan and recoup, that's all I need,
Yeah.
right?
I think so. I actually had this discussion with my family recently. We were talking about, all right, so we are closer than at any time since the Cold War to nuclear shit, right?
Yeah, but no one wants to nuke where you live.
Correct. Yeah, that's the beauty
Yeah.
of it. I'm like,
Well, yeah, you're
that
lucky.
is the
for
best
my
part.
area, I'm like, there's like one city close by that could be nuked, and I'm like,
It's like not. Yeah, it's like number 100
there's a
on
possibility,
cities.
and it's like exactly, yeah. And I'm like, maybe it could be nuked. So like just in case, but it's not high up there. It's not like New York, LA, or Washington D.C., right? Which
Sure.
are like probably the top three. Maybe Boston up there too, right?
San Francisco, the big
Yeah.
cities.
Really massive cities.
If we were to get if cities were going to be targeted, Evan would go first, then Colton, then me. Michael would probably live.
Yeah. Except I don't think where I
Probably
live, I'd
nothing
be
would
very
change.
high on the
Nothing
list either.
would change where I'm at. It'd be like,
Yeah, you're-
that's why I
you're
was
just
like,
kinda-
I think Armageddon would only happen in like major metropolitan areas where bombs are hit, but like in much more rural areas or even like small towns or cities, it would be like Columbus, Ohio would be like, oh, it's just another Tuesday.
See, but
No,
but
I mean
people would
you'd have entire infrastructure collapse.
the-
like
it'd be
there's
the purge,
it's within about a month.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. 6 months though, like essentially once gasoline starts to run out.
Okay, Michael, you think if every major city was taken out, that you would experience no effects for 6
one,
months?
I don't think every major city is going to get taken out. I think personally is that about maybe 10 to 20% of the bombs would actually land, which is still a lot.
Let's say
of
10
2,000.
major cities get taken out. I think the same thing's going to happen within a month.
Really?
Yeah. No, I
I think as long as
Everyone-
the oil keeps flowing from the Gulf and from up north, and as long as
But to what city? That's the thing. Nothing processes anymore. That's the thing they're going to get taken out.
There's plenty of places that process. That's why I said the Gulf or up north.
But they're
because-
also going to be targeted. That if I was launching an attack on another country, you're taking out core infrastructure first, which paralyzes the entire country.
I agree with that, but I think it'd be major cities that'd be targeted.
I
over-
think if more than one bomb went off, like let's say Russia nuked us one time, they blew up New York, right? The rest of the country would be like, whoa. But it would probably,
Whoa.
I mean, obviously, right? Then it's full-fledged war where things are happening. But
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I think
We're launching
things
our
would
own
hold
arsenal,
together, right? But if more than
I agree
one
with
nuke
that.
landed, if multiple places in the country, I think the rest of the country, I mean, panic would ensue, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah,
people
panic
would start
start.
looting and start killing. It'd be like the purge, and you don't want to be the
Yep.
one that's not looting in that situation. And so it would just cascade and So the only shot
Devolve
would
into
be
anarchy.
if there was one, and we had time to react to it. Let's say we each nuked each other one time. We nuked Russia once, they nuked us once, and we're like, wow, that was crazy, guys. Let's chill.
Let's
That'd be the
Like a
only
Japan
hope.
situation. You're like, oh,
I just don't think that would ever happen.
Slow-
I think it'd be it's an all or nothing thing, right?
I'm not
That's
saying
how
it would
the
happen.
movies
I think
portray it.
that's what I am,
Yeah.
buying guns and somewhat preparing. So, not that I think it's going to happen, but I don't know. I don't have confidence in either leader at the moment. So,
Yeah. It's a really tense world, and there's a lot of
Yeah.
chaos out there right
I
now.
hope the cooler heads will prevail.
I'd like to think that we're not going to nuke each other to Armageddon.
Yeah.
I dislike
There's also-
thinking
It's why
about
it's
that.
why
I
we didn't get
actively
into the
cancel
last
that
Cold
out.
War or like the last nuclear war when a couple people were like, you know what, let's not,
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the
send
thing,
a nuke because
is-
we sensor failure stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like, you know what, maybe I'm gonna hold back.
but you don't have those.
I'm hoping
people,
those people are the ones.
You don't have those people anymore. I mean, the current administration's position is that Russia cannot win, and Russia's position is that if our land is impeded on an inch, then we're going to nuke Ukraine. I mean, Putin said that recently, and he's like, "This is not a bluff. I will do it." And then you have our
I'll do it.
administration saying they cannot lose, or Ukraine cannot lose. So that's kind of in a down the line eventual impasse that we're going to have to reach. And at the same time, we're provoking China. So it's just not good
This is
things
why
are
I
happening.
say we go to space. Just get out of here, people. I'm going to space as soon as I
Going
can.
to
yeah,
space,
right.
going
Elon's
to the
on it.
moon. Yeah.
I'm not going to trust something he does at this point.
You wouldn't fly in an Elon rocket?
Probably not.
I mean, with,
I
like,
like-
we just,
maybe.
there'd be nowhere to
Maybe,
go right now.
but-
You just go
Yeah,
to
there's
the,
nowhere to go right now. That's
yeah,
the problem.
Yeah.
Let's say 20 years from now, he's got a Mars colony established, and he's the only one, right? Bezos, let's be honest, his rockets are never going to work, right? So Elon's your only chance to get off Earth. Are you going to do it?
Probably not at that point. I think we also in a recent podcast just talked about the like Cyberpunk Edge Runners anime, and the entire like city is ruled by these mega corporations. If I'm on a Mars colony that is a privatized Elon Tesla colony,
Elon
and
Tesla
I have to pay work for Tesla coins to pay for all the things. It's basically Night City, and I'm not about that.
The only people living there are Elon fanboys that just go
like
around
the
talking about how
Elon-
great Elon is.
The Elon subreddit just
They go, oh, that's a
collectively
nice
moves.
Tesla you got there. Oh, that's a nice Tesla you got there.
Yeah.
They're just talking in circles.
Yeah. How's your Tesla phone? Is that great?
Yeah.
Oh, my Tesla phone's amazing.
Yeah.
I just charged it with my Tesla
Oh,
battery.
Dogecoin is doing great, man.
Yeah.
We're going to the moon.
Dogecoin is like thriving here. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so my only option, no. If I had a couple options, maybe.
Yeah. Sir, how is your Tesla vibrator? Oh, it's great. Thanks. Thank you.
Tesla branded
I've always
everything.
said that I will die with the Earth. I think if it comes down
Yeah.
to it and everybody's leaving, like a Wall-E type situation, I'd just stay on the Earth and I'd ride out the Mad Max years and then, it
I'm
is
out.
what it is. I don't like space. I don't need to go to space. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
I'm gonna put my faith in humanity to not blow each other up. I'll hold on to that.
We can hope for.
yeah.
Yeah.
Only real thing.
So
Yeah.
this is a question if you guys are willing to do a spoiler cast or not, but I watched the latest
Sure.
Lord of the Rings last night. Are you guys all up to date on that?
Oh yeah.
So
I haven't watched
I'm
it, but you
not.
can spoiler cast it.
I'm not. Hold on. Let me see where I am at though. Because I was just at the place where I think they just created Mordor.
The volcano blew up.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was another episode past.
I don't know if that's. Yeah, there's one more. Yeah, the Eye I haven't seen.
Okay.
Shit. Okay.
Oh, never mind.
The
Is that
eye.
there's some big that happens? imagine.
No, I just had opinions about the episode and
Same,
want to
yeah.
talk about it.
Are they good opinions or bad opinions?
Well, I can talk about everything else besides that.
Well, the previous episode, the
And
one
then
that you just watched,
are you
was
watching
crazy.
House of Dragons as well?
Yeah, I am watching House of Dragons. So well,
I'm
there's a new
also
episode
one behind
tonight.
on that.
Oh, come, Sean, you're slacking, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Well, so I haven't seen episode 7, which was the second, so less. So yeah, but I saw the first one with the age up,
Yeah, okay.
which was pretty intense.
The last episode was really good. I'm looking forward to tonight's.
Yeah, episode 7 was.
I'll
freaking
hopefully
great.
watch both of them tonight.
Yeah, you should. Lord of the Rings,
And
not
then I
so
also
much,
caught
but
up on like
So the new
Yeah,
episode was
Lord of the
not
Rings.
great.
I watch it. So honestly, I literally just go, all right, skip. Okay, big action plot change. Okay, cool. I get to know what happens. I don't really care about the rest of it. I've like literally.
What's wrong with you?
It's
You've
so
fallen
fucking
off?
boring. It's so
Really?
You're
boring.
the worst type of watch of.
I'm so bored with it, man.
I think
it's
the
like,
last episode where
Then
Mordor was
cancel it.
created
Get-
was really good. I mean, I was on
I-
the edge of my seat.
I agree with that, but for like, especially this past episode, I
This
was
past
just like,
episode was not it.
skip. Skip. I don't need to hear this little speech or whatever. I'm good. I don't know.
Is it not full of
once I'm bored with
background
it,
detail?
Once
Is it
I'm bored
not
with
full
it.
of lore?
No, it's
Yeah.
it's full of just bullshit. And it's
Well,
like,
Bullshit.
And I think my
It's so
biggest
much
pet
bullshit.
peeve in a show is when they don't have critical thinking or common sense in
Yeah,
what
there's
they do.
definitely a lot of that in Lord of the Rings.
No, I don't think so. Because I was talking
No,
about it.
I'm agreeing with you in that there is not a lot of that in Lord of the Rings.
yeah,
No, I'm saying I think in Lord of the Rings there was, but in the new show there is not. In the actual original
okay.
trilogy. So in
That-
how what is the show even called? Rings of Power. I think there's been
Yeah.
a lot of decisions where I was just sitting there, like, what?
Yeah.
Why are they doing
Yeah.
that?
I agree.
for plot convenience.
agree.
Also,
Yeah.
there's
Oh, yeah.
Galadriel. like-
Galadriel is the most annoying character.
Galadriel?
Like Galadriel.
Yeah.
She's been alive for what, a millennia, and she can't just be diplomatic
Yeah.
to somebody. Like
Yeah.
she's a moron,
Right.
and she's super condescending to people. I'm like, just,
antagonistic. Like what
yeah,
the heck?
Actually,
Come
yeah,
on.
antagonistic even more so. Yeah,
And what I really, it is what it is, but I question it is, she searched to the ends of the earth to find the orcs and Sauron, and then they're just chilling in the Southlands, digging holes on the surface, and she couldn't find
Yeah.
them there, I thought, I was questioning her
Yeah.
supposed god
Yeah.
abilities right there,
Yeah. Huh.
I don't know if she's gained those yet. She's just like, I think she's still essentially a child.
Well, she's. I mean,
an elf.
people respect her as a legend, though. They're like, oh, it's Galadriel. Oh, snap! You know, like
Yeah.
like the black elf guy was. He saw her and was like, oh my god, that's the
Commander of the Northern
yeah.
Armies.
Yeah,
So she's
like,
got
fuck.
she's got clout, but you know,
Well, that's why she couldn't find him, because she's the Northern Armies, not the Southern Armies. She couldn't find him in the Southlands.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
true.
guess.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
South.
can't go everywhere in the world but the Southlands, right? That was my other
Off
thing.
limits.
Okay, this is just reverting back. We've all already seen this. The elf guy that was in the Southlands, right? He got captured by the orcs, right? And he was with his
Yep,
other
yep.
elf friends. And they said,
Yep.
whoever gets out of the pit, go tell the army, and then come and save the rest of us, right? And what does he do when he gets out of the pit? He sits in that tower and does nothing. Why aren't you going to tell your elf army that you supposedly have? You know, go tell some
Or send
people.
a raven
Yeah.
or
And
he-
something.
Yeah, and they literally let out like a commander, right, to go, like him, right?
Yeah.
A well-trained elf that's 1,000 years old to like Adar or whatever. Hey, I'll let you go with all your equipment and your bow and everything like that.
Yeah.
To like go tell, hey, these people must surrender. Like, what the fuck? You just send like some like lackey to do that. You don't send literally
Sure.
a guy who like,
The
Send a
commander,
singular
yeah.
orc, perhaps, to do that instead
Yeah.
of somebody that could be used against you. And, you know, that's a dream situation for him. He doesn't have to fight his way out. He gets to go hit up his elf. I don't even know what elf nation he's a part of, first of all, because I don't think it's ever
Yeah.
explained. He's just
Well,
some
Adar?
random elf. Yeah.
No, he's an orc.
Part of the High Elf.
He's one of the
Oh,
first orcs.
I was talking about the elf dude. I thought that was his name. But I was
Oh,
mistaken.
yeah.
But regardless, what army is he a part of? What elf nation? I don't know.
It's
You know?
probably
Yeah.
like it's probably what's the one?
He's on like a little outpost, then probably nothing of
Yeah, I bet
importance.
it's like it's probably Gil-galad's stuff, right?
Yeah.
Noldor. Yeah.
Regardless, I think he
I've-
just sat around in the tower and waited for the orcs to come and kill him, and it's like, okay, you could have
Yeah.
done a lot more there for sure.
The best part about the Rings of Power show has been the visuals.
Uh-huh.
That's
Yeah.
kind of, I think, probably the best part.
And that's definitely where Amazon
then-
dumped their money.
Yeah, the Dragons show has been super cool though, because it takes place over a longer period of time, so you can actually see the political maneuvering that happens in the castle
Yeah.
in the Red Keep. That's been super fascinating to me to see what happens.
And like the moments that make it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. House of Dragons, excellent. I'm really excited for
It's
it.
really good. Yeah, I'm bummed though that we're not going to see who was the biggest dragon ever. Is it Valyron? Valyron the Dread. I
Yeah.
thought
Oh.
that we were going to get to see him in the show, but he's already dead in the show, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah, with the skull and everything.
Yeah, I mean, we still get to see Vagar, who's still fucking
Huge.
massive.
Huge, but
Yeah.
you always see
Like,
the
it's like a-
skull of Valyron,
Yeah.
and
Oh man,
I
that guy
wanted
was
to-
a unit.
I wanted to see it. Give me a flashback at least. You know, I
Yeah.
just want to see him like be as
still
big as
time.
the Red Keep or something. You know.
Yeah, he's as big as he's bigger. I think when I remember seeing a video on it, they did like the rough measurements of it. He was bigger than like something like an 747.
Yeah.
Just absolutely freaking massive.
Well, and we get to see, was it Valyron the dragon in the show, that the big one? He's
Yeah.
in it, so- Vagar. So he isn't
Yeah.
he 4 or 5 times as big as Vagar, Valyron the Dread,
I think
something like that.
Vagar is definitely younger. Balerion was still huge, but like probably not 3 or 4 times. Probably more like a 1.5 or 2, but still massive.
Vagar's still pretty big. I mean, but he also looks like he's rotting. Like
Yeah.
he does not look like a good
Yeah.
dragon.
Looks like a slug.
Well, she's old. She's super old.
Oh, really? Okay.
no horns
sense.
though. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
looks like kind of like a slug. I thought.
Spiky.
Sorry, Colton. You've kind of
slug.
been excluded from this conversation.
I've been spoiled, but that's okay. I do want to
we
watch
could talk
eventually.
about something else.
Oh, that's fine.
Well, we're also talking about super
Well,
general
we haven't
stuff,
spoiled
I
any of the
think.
plot for you. We're just saying.
No,
like,
no, no.
hey,
That's,
this
I know
stuff's
dragons
good.
are
There's
big dragons.
I mean,
apparently.
if the Targaryens rule, there's dragons.
Yeah.
But hey, welcome to Almost a Podcast. I'm your host this week for episode 52.
Yep.
Sean, with my two lads, Michael and Colton.
Saw, dude.
And we also
Hi.
have a special guest this week for our. Is this the pre-year or the
This is the
next
1 year. This is the 1 year.
Oh,
52
snap.
weeks in a
This
year.
This is about the 1 year.
Well, our special guest is Evan, who is my brother, for our year podcast episode.
I feel honored. I didn't know this was going to be the year podcast.
This is a big one.
That's exciting.
This is a big one. You better not mess up.
Well, I am the best possible guest.
Starting strong. I know we at one point wanted to talk about, or I should say, Evan would occasionally message me when we do a podcast episode and to correct me on things that I've said, or like we'll say something that we discussed that he thinks is wrong. So I thought it'd be fun to have him on to just kind of rebuttal that in a way, if of anything he might remember. And I know one of the ones you had mentioned before was our drip episode where we were discussing, I think just men's fashion in general, or we're doing fashion in general.
We're doing drip.
You guys remember?
Not just fashion,
We're doing
drip.
Drip.
Yeah.
And how we defined what drip was.
Sure.
That I don't, and I'm trying to remember what we said drip was, but I think we all came to the conclusion that none of us have it.
I have some drip. Like I have some. It's not just being fashionable, but it's more than that. It's like, I don't know. What do you think, Evan? I would describe it as being cool, swaggy. What we said, iced out,
what's your
whatever the
definition?
heck.
Swaggy,
that,
Iced out is a definite one. So, I mean,
What does that
well,
mean?
here's the thing. So the drip is something that is coming from your ice, right? So if you're iced out, meaning you got
Oh, I get it
a
now.
chain on, a diamond chain specifically, because it looks like ice, right? Then you're dripping, right? Because you got ice on you, right? So that I think
it's dripping.
I don't remember specifically what you guys were talking about. I think it was more so with you, Sean, talking about either it was something to do with borrowing my clothes or borrowing our dad's clothes back in the day or something like that. But there was a moment where I said, I don't like how he said that or went about that. That wasn't important. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I think.
Well, I would typically borrow your guys's. Like I don't have many dress shoes, for example,
Sure.
but you have several pairs. Because you were for a long while let me phrase that.
Still currently. I think where you're going with this is that I'm the most fashionable in the family.
I was trying to find a way to determine the point in time when you became more fashion-minded, and I never did.
Sure. I will say though,
but yeah,
very
you
proud
became
of
more
you
fashion-minded
in your current state. I think that
Oh wow!
I've much improved. And guys, maybe you don't remember, but there was a period where Sean would only wear cargo shorts and a sriracha T-shirt from Target or something like that.
Yeah, of course,
yeah.
dude.
Okay.
It's the Sean look. Of
Right.
course, I know that. Yeah,
But
That's my
I
style.
think that
It's
I think that
style.
you've improved. The times I've seen you lately, you got pants on. You got a nice little white shirt on.
Yeah,
something like
yeah,
that,
I got
you know.
it
pants.
sounds
I'm
like
wearing
he just
pants,
never
guys.
wears pants.
Well,
Like,
you
Sean,
used
you
to
got some
not.
pants
You
on,
used
dude.
to never wear pants.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's 20
I
degrees
used to
outside.
just refuse to wear pants up until pretty much college.
College,
You
we
just
went to
didn't wear
Michigan
pants?
State.
Just wear
and
cargo
you
shorts?
Yeah,
can't-
and I'm
you
like,
can't
all
be
right, this
outside-
makes sense.
Yeah,
To
you can't be
wear
outside in
pants.
-20 with shorts
Yeah.
on.
In California, you
And
can
now
get
I wear
away
them
with only
fairly
wearing shorts.
often.
Because
Yeah.
it only gets
Yeah,
down to
yeah, yeah.
60. But
Yeah, you can get away with a lot of things in California. Just like basically just wearing shorts and that's it.
exactly, yeah. But I'm
Yep.
proud of Sean, and he's come a long way. But you have you can achieve more. I believe you have
Probably,
next
but
steps.
I did buy some fancy new shoes.
Oh.
I don't think I sent any of you guys them, but I bought fancy dress shoes. I have my vest, I have my long sleeve shirts, and I have a slack pair or two. I still don't have a full on three piece yet,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like a.
but
Okay.
but eventually I'll get that. Found a really good store for it in my city, so I'll check it out at some point when I have some spare change floating around.
Yeah. So
I
Evan,
did, however, hear you're what, Michael?
Evan, what makes you the most dripped out, the most iced out of all the family?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, it's just strictly ice. I wear chains and stuff. Nobody else does that in my
Okay.
family. It's not an icy chain because it's just stainless steel, but whatever. I just think that I pay attention to how I look more. I think our parents are both pretty fashionable. I mean, they're both artists. They're, they've had a general good sense of fashion, but I don't think they're willing to spend the bigger bucks or put as much attention. Also, maybe they're not adhering. I mean, I'm young, so I could do latest trends. Like, for example, I have Air Force Ones, which are super popular shoe for people to wear these days. So, and I'm not like, I don't want to make it sound like I'm bragging that I'm super fashionable, because I'm really not that fashionable. But when you compare, what I was to what Sean was, back in the day,
It's like it's like comparing.
That's fair.
Yeah, base zero.
Yeah.
The lowest
Well,
expectations.
you
possible.
also you spend way more money on clothes than I do,
Yes.
and have for a while. I don't now. I actually do spend money on clothes though. Like if I get a nice shirt, I tend to go for that. I was in the mall the other day, and based on Colton's recommendation, I checked out Lululemon.
Oh yeah, I love Lulu.
I was looking around.
I
I'm like,
remember
all
that
right.
from the podcast.
Colton said there's some nice
Yeah.
shirts here.
I'm wearing one right now.
So I'll check it out. And I found some stuff. I'm like, oh, you know what? That's not too bad.
Except it's like
it was
100
also like $120.
It's like $100.
And I thought,
dude.
I don't need it right now.
You say that.
So
Same. I was in the city this weekend, and went to the Lululemon store as well. I was like, oh shit, there's a Lululemon. I gotta go now, because I had to pick up some jeans, because like half of my jeans are just decimated now. I don't know why. Just they all somehow were just ripped right on the crotch seam at the same time.
Too much rough
weird.
housing.
How did this happen?
No, I'm serious. It's just I'm like 3 in a row. I'm like, what the fuck? But
Interesting.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna try out Lululemon, and yeah, they're $120. I did not buy any because I felt like $130 was a lot for a pair of freaking pants. They're really nice, like
They're
really soft
great
though.
pants. Yeah.
The only issue I had with them was so I was looking at the slack type ones they've got, is that they weren't super wrinkle resistant. I was expecting them to be a lot more wrinkle resistant than they were. But I don't know.
I would say that
But they were
120
super
is
soft.
not bad for a pair of pants. For a good pair of pants like Lululemon.
That's Evan's distinction of
Yeah.
Yeah,
clothing
Yeah,
level.
they're not Gucci pants.
Well, I'm not Gucci level yet. I can't afford that. But, that, for example, Sean, a brand I was going to recommend to you was Lucky, right? You like that brand.
I've heard of this. Yeah.
They're, because they had the 4-leaf clover as the logo, and they make really nice clothes. And I just got like a nice kind of long sleeve vest thing from them and a couple pairs of pants the other day, and it was around 120, maybe a little bit more, 130, 140 for a pair of pants, but they're really nice jeans, and it's one of those things that it's going to last you a lot longer. You have cheap pants, maybe you get holes in the crotch, right?
Yeah, it's better than
2
going
or
to
3
H&M.
times
They're
a year,
stretch pants.
then
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
buy the one pair and it lasts you 5 years or whatever, and so
Yeah.
and it feels better. And I think the thing that
The feel better is what I care about.
Exactly, and that's what I was just going to say, is I would think it would appeal to you more, Sean, is that you like to be comfortable, and I like to be comfortable. That's part of the reason I like nice things, right? Is because nice things are more comfortable. It's got better materials, it's 100% cotton, whatever it is, and, I like to just be in a cloud in my shirt and my pants and whatnot. It's nice. So you should check out their clothes, though.
I'll check out Lucky. I did hear, though, Evan, that you are in the process of refreshing your wardrobe.
The full
Yep, that was
wardrobe,
part
huh?
of that was
Is that
part of
true?
the Lucky purchase, right? So basically, I used to thrift a lot of clothes, and I heard either Colton or Michael talk about thrifting, a lot. I used to love to do that because I was in high school and I was poor, and that was the best way to get new drip.
You can get some
dripped
really
out.
nice stuff.
Yeah.
to use yeah, and you could actually find really. My girlfriend actually buys and resells clothes online, and she'll find designer stuff at Goodwill, and sell it, buy it
Yeah.
for $5 and sell it for $200-300. So, but I think I'm past the thrifted now. I think I've moved on, and now I just want legit nice things.
Too good for thrifting.
Yeah. Without all the effort of looking for it.
Yeah, and it's a lot of work. And when I was in high
Yeah.
school, I could go and I had nothing to do, no responsibilities, and just go with my buddies and thrift for a couple hours. But now I get off work and I just I'm tired, and I don't want to go sift through bins of clothes, So
Yeah,
and
for
I
2 or 3
also would
hours.
like to simplify my look. That's why another reason I would
yeah.
recommend Lucky, Sean, is because they got that nice, classic, everyday James Bond type, fit.
That's me
Maybe
right
not
there. is
James
everyday
Bond, but
James
you
Bond.
see a photo shoot with Daniel Craig, and he's got that nice, V-neck sweater on. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of stuff. That's literally what I bought.
Clean
Like a
look.
Tom Cruise look.
Yeah, right. So,
Right.
and it's just
He's very
classic,
simple, man.
timeless. I just want to get 10 items. A couple black
10.
shirts, a couple white shirts, a couple jeans. Different washes, and just kind of have a basic platform for pretty much any outfit. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
that way.
Then how would you
Nice.
describe your go-to look? Like, it sounds like you're trying to go for like a classic men's fashion, like simple but very versatile.
Yeah, I think these days I just am. I also I was a metalhead for a long time, so I just like all black. Black t-shirt,
Yeah.
black jeans,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, black jeans. Yeah.
and sneakers. I've loved Vans. I wore Vans like my whole life pretty much. I would like to get more into actual sneaker collecting. I really want the Dior Converse, but those like $1,500, so it's a little bit down the line. But
Yeah. One
so
day.
just shirt, jeans, and sneakers. That's what it's my most comfortable. But like you can make that look good. I also really like jewelry, so I would like to eventually get more jewelry and just accessorize that way. Some nice
Mhm.
sunglasses.
Couple rings, like
Yeah.
10 or 2.
Yeah.
I don't get the fascination people have with shoes.
Oh yeah, like
It's cool.
I know a lot of people who collect shoes and love like
Same.
the
They're-
new Jordans
they're
and
the
stuff like that.
Well, yeah, and then, there's tons. It's a huge market. It's easily the part of your outfit that gets the dirtiest the quickest, hardest to maintain. And if I'm out and about, now this is me, so right off the bat, I don't care about it as much. But if I'm out and about, the last thing I notice about a person is their shoes, if I ever
Yeah.
notice them at all.
That's the same with me. Some people are the opposite though. They like notice the feet first.
Oh, absolutely.
I was
You know,
just about to
they'll
say,
notice-
I totally disagree.
It's so
Right?
interesting.
Yeah.
It's like a personality
Like-
thing almost. Difference between people.
I have no idea what shoes Colton wears.
Yeah, I can.
I know what shoes Micah wears sometimes because they make noise.
yeah.
So I go,
yeah.
oh, it's that noise. And I look down and it's a shoe. I'm like, oh, it's the shoe. That is the limit of where my attention goes
It's because
to.
I was probably wearing wooden backed boots.
Yeah, the wooden heeled shoes.
Yeah.
I think
So
a
when
lot.
they have wood on them, yeah.
I think a lot of people, a lot of sneakerheads will say, "Oh, they're collectible," especially if we just take Jordans, right? They're collectible. There's a lot of different colorways. They're rare. I'm not super into sports, but obviously there's a sport aspect to it. That if you're a big fan of Michael Jordan, right, and there's that factor if you like repping that. But I think if you just get down to it, the majority of it is just the money factor. If some guy's wearing a $10,000 pair of Jordans, that's why he's wearing them. It's because they're 10 grand.
Yeah, because they
And
cost
anybody
$10,000.
who's in the
Ooh,
know,
$10,000.
any girl, any whatever, is gonna see the shoes and say that guy's wearing $10,000 shoes. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
I get it. I just it's not like more my head goes. Like it's not something I personally I guess hold a lot of value into. But it's just interesting hearing that
It's just
a lot of people do it. It's not just a few people. There's a lot of people who are into it and know all the brands, which is
Yeah.
just a different
it's
world
just
for
the
me.
easiest thing to damage.
They are. Yeah, I
Like,
don't
I'll
get it
just-
either.
well, that's
how do
that's
you?
another
Don't you think
part of it.
that's the
though.
point?
Someone
Yeah.
steps on your toes. Someone you hit a wall. Like, come on.
So that's the other thing about it.
How do you
Sean,
maintain
is
that?
If you have well maintained shoes, you're not down in the dumps. You're probably stepping on your nice carpet in your $10 million house, and you hop in the Rolls Royce. You're not going through the mud. You're not walking to work, right?
Yeah, you're not walking in dirt.
It's
It's like a
another layer of
prestige,
it.
like,
yeah, if you have all
thing.
white shoes that cost you $10,000 and they don't have a speck of dirt on them, you're living the life, right? You could tell about what type of daily life that guy lives.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's
So-
such an LA mindset. I feel like this is just
It is,
something
yeah.
growing up in the Midwest.
That's
I did
fair.
not ever like really
Yeah,
get
working
exposed
shoes.
to.
Yeah,
the
I was saying
Midwest.
in the Midwest, it's almost the opposite. It's like, oh, you're wearing like steel-toed, heavy-duty workman's boots. All right, you're like,
Oh yeah, that's
you're
man.
you're a hard worker. You're a man. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, like, and like they're like literally caked in mud. Yeah, that's like normal.
Yeah.
It's a
I'm wearing drip right now.
Uh-oh.
I got
Are you
my
wearing drip?
spotless white in and out shirt on.
Wow.
Oh
And
god,
it's got
so
the,
cringe.
It's got the menu
Double,
on the
double.
back
Oh,
right
wow.
Yeah.
there. Oh yeah, that's a good shirt right there.
Yeah.
That's a good
Classic.
shirt. Classic.
Yeah, I don't. I think with designer clothes, I like them. I would like to own them, partially for the quality, but honestly, it's mainly just for the status of being able to afford that one day. If what is
Mhm.
equivalent to me now of what I would spend on a shirt is $100, right? Then I want to get to the point in life where I can equally, my income is enough to say, yeah, a $400 shirt is fine. I'll just pick that up,
Mm.
and
So it's kind of
they're
like
really
I
high
think there's
quality, but
a point of diminishing returns.
Yeah.
And there's got to be like $100 has to be the point at which you start spending more for less.
well, and
you
that's why
know?
I think brands like Lucky are legitimately, it's a good brand, right? They make quality clothes, and there's other brands like this, but they're not designer. Designer is the brand name you're paying for it to say
Yeah.
Gucci
Gucci
on it.
Supreme.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's where it gets into just like high fashion, but high quality brands is different, and I think that's totally acceptable.
Yeah.
The luxury items are, you know, that's a different animal pretty much.
Yeah, I feel like that's like
Mhm.
a status thing. It's almost like you're telling yourself you made it by being able to do that and being
Yeah.
able to like afford it kind of thing almost. Like it's different. It's not just the fashion. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm doing good. Like
I'm rich.
I've made it.
You know.
Yeah.
What terrifies me though is you'll have like kids like 16 years old who want to get like Supreme shit and will like buy that shit, and then they're like, wait, they're not self-made. They're just using their parents' money to like buy
Yeah.
that, or
Yeah.
or like, oh, I just blew through my parents' credit card because they gave me that
Because I needed the
information.
Fortnite skins.
Yeah, the Fortnite
Like-
skins.
Yeah, you
right?
need the foreign skins. Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
right. And you're like, oh, now my parents can't afford rent.
Which is nuts to me because Evan, you and I were kids.
Mhm.
Our parents never once gave us their card.
Well, it's just bad parenting. And if that happens
Yeah.
to you as a parent, then you deserve it. It is what it is. Unless they stole it from your wallet, then but they
Yeah.
just have a bad kid. But if you gave them, I don't know. I mean, yeah. But our parents never would have done
I
that.
mean, the only time our parents have ever given us their cards are within the last couple years when they said, okay, I'll go, like we're trying to decide on lunch and they don't want to drive anywhere. And I said, I'll go drive, because if they're paying, I'll drive and go get the food.
Mhm,
So I'll
right.
give the card and I'll go to In-N-Out or something,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm about to say that's about what my parents did. Is like, oh, can you pay for this while I grab a seat or something like that, and I just have the card at the restaurant,
Yeah.
or whatever, and just pay for it, and then give it back to them right away, right?
Mhm.
So it's different.
Yeah, I think I remember asking to buy Minecraft when it came out. I think being like,
Oh,
hey, can we, and I think one of us got an account, Sean, and we both shared
Yeah.
it, and then
Yeah.
I wanted to get my own or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a false
Yeah, yeah.
memory. And they said, well, you already
Mhm.
have a Minecraft account. Why do you don't need two of them? That's ludicrous, right?
You and me are both working to convince them on
Yeah.
that because we're like, no, we need two so we can.
yeah,
Separate.
well, we
Yeah,
gotta
that's
play
it.
together, and I don't even think they
Yeah.
had multiplayer back then, or LAN playing, because
I
we
don't think
started
so.
in
Yeah,
the
no.
beta version. I mean, I've been playing that game,
we were in the alpha, I'm pretty sure.
yeah, either the end of the alpha or beginning of beta, but I mean, years. I mean, whenever like 2011 when that game came out, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other things were RuneScape,
Mhm.
convincing them to get the membership on RuneScape, and then Xbox Live
Oh yeah.
were probably the other things that we convinced our parents to buy for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, I need to take over.
That
the,
were subscriptions, which were big at the time because
Yeah.
subscriptions
You needed
were
to.
not as prevalent when we were kids as they are now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like everything's just a subscription now.
Yeah, everything.
Well, and the
even at
subscription back
work-
then was probably $10 for Xbox Live, and now
RuneScape was $5 a month, and then Xbox Live, I'm pretty sure was still pretty cheap, but we did the year at a time, I think, and it's still $50 a year.
For a year.
It was definitely $50 at the time at a year, which
well, I think
wasn't
it's
bad.
probably more now. It's got to be, but
It might be
I-
I
more.
don't, I don't have it anymore. I don't know, but
I need to take over our account from Dad because he keeps threatening to cancel it, and I always forget to. I thought I switched it
I
to
don't know
my
why he
card.
hasn't already.
Yeah, but that we have, 30,000 gamer score on that account.
Oh,
which
geez.
is pretty good. So that I mean that
I think more than that, we have a continuous subscription for the last 12 years.
it's pretty cool. Yeah,
They have a little badge next to your profile of
Oh,
like how many
really?
years
Yeah,
you've been.
it's like your
Xbox
Steam
Live.
Loyalty
subscription. It's
program.
like your Steam. Yeah.
Ours is a long time.
yeah, I value that account.
It might be even 15 years at this point.
But I will never ever personally achieve that gamer score, and I hope I don't ever. I hope I don't dedicate that much time to games. So like having the gamer score there is okay, cool. We already did it. We wasted all
It's like
our
we
years
won.
as kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know,
I run
wasted.
into that a lot
Well, yeah,
now,
it was fun, but
where I wish I could spend the same amount of time I did on something that I did when I was a kid.
Yeah.
All the time, I run into something like that. Man, I wish I could do this, or I wish I could dedicate even 4 hours a day to something else.
Yeah.
And now I just can't.
Unique things. Yeah. It is pretty hard now being an adult. So
Adulting, man.
That was one of the things that when you were talking about clothes, Evan, because you don't pay rent right now.
don't give them
and
any
you're
ideas. They
making
might be listening.
and you're making money.
Yep.
So you can go out and you're like, oh yeah, $150 for a shirt, no problem, right? But I've reached the point where I'm at the point where I like to get quality things, which are now more expensive. But I'm at the point in time where I can't get as many of those at a time because of bills and etc.
Yeah.
that comes with living on your own.
But I mean, Evan,
So
you
it's
got
a
you got
very
a car
interesting-
payment, right?
Yeah.
I don't have a car.
No,
payment.
I do.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, as I said, Evan's
You
got
do,
a car
'cause you
payment.
get
It's not
So
a-
which is
It's not a cheap one. So,
yeah.
that's true.
but
makes
I
up for the
think
no rent.
But
right. But I think, Sean, as an answer, that's why I was saying I recommend to check out a mid-tier brand like Lucky, and you save $1,000, right? You go and you get 3 shirts, 3 pairs of jeans in like different washes, different styles, and like you could buy the base, and you're wearing nice clothes. You can mix and
But
match
that's also not
outfits.
something I could even imagine. I would never walk into a store at this point in my life. I would never walk into a store and put down $1,000 on clothes.
See, but
It just wouldn't
I
happen.
think that's what a guy like you should do, because for me, I did this while I was working. I stopped in a Lucky store and just bought like 3 things, and I'm not saying I shop all the time, but I have clothes I already like, and I kind of slowly add things just when I feel like it, or when I go shopping for fun, right? I know you wouldn't do that.
No.
So, but that's what I'm
I
saying.
think
I'll
none of
occasionally
us would
wander the
here.
mall now,
I think the
occasionally.
better way to do it for somebody like you is to say, okay, this is my clothes money, and I'm gonna take it, and I'm gonna, go to the mall. You can go with me when you're in town or whatever, and we can say, I'm like, all right, here, you buy your clothes, and you can mix and match that for
Yeah.
years to come. You
But-
know?
Yeah.
As a counterpoint, though, Evan, is that you are in job wise, you're more customer facing, right? So having extremely nice clothes is more beneficial in that. It's almost like an investment, right?
Well, the clothes that I bought and I'm talking about buying is not work clothes. I have work clothes as well, so I've
Okay.
invested in those. But I mainly just wear golf stuff really, because I'm a pretty hot person, and like golf clothes are the most breathable. So I'll wear like a golf polo and golf
Yeah.
pants and whatnot, and work shoes, like dress shoes. But I think it's. I mean, I buy nice clothes for personal use as well. Like just the black T-shirts and jeans. I don't wear that to work. So, but that's just more of a daily use, comfortable lifestyle thing.
Yeah, that's interesting because it's weird for me to think about dropping $1,000 in one sitting. For me, it's like I totally agree.
For any reason, really.
Well, getting like 2 things that are $100+, like like you wanna get those 2 things, but then just like for me, consolidating all that, if I were to buy 2 things every 3 months and build it up over the time, it seems reasonable. But then when I go to do it all at once, it's like holy crap! I mean
Yeah.
that is a lot of money to spend.
The other problem for me personally is I'm more inclined to spend money on something that's not clothes, just because they're lower in my tier list.
Yeah.
And I think that's if you see me, that's pretty obvious. But I mean, we were just talking about how I want to get a new knife. You know, a new knife is not cheap. A new nice knife is not cheap. We're talking about $170, almost $200 for a knife, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am way more likely to spend money on that than I am on getting two shirts. You know,
Mhm. Yeah.
just in terms of my priorities. But then it'll come to a point where I do need to get a new shirt or something like that, and
Yeah.
it really depends.
I feel like doing it one at a time could be easier to like stomach, I suppose.
easier for me to
Because
stomach.
from when I think $1,000, I'm like, dude, that's a ticket. That's a plane ticket right there. If I have it all right in my hand.
$1,000 is a lot of things.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I walk out the door. I was telling you guys before. I walk out the door and spend $100. It sucks.
Yeah.
I did an oil change today.
Yeah.
You know, and then when I was there, I thought, oh, I also need some. The other bummer about moving out is you lack things that were common before.
Mhm.
Evan, you clean your car, and there's the car cleaner and the bucket and all that stuff. I go out and I want to clean my car. I don't have a bucket. I don't have my tire cleaner.
Well, I also
Kinda get it all, dude.
So-
we lived in a very unique house where our dad is a handyman essentially, not like by trade, but he does all his own stuff. So we had
he was by trade.
well, he was by
handyman for a
trade for
bit.
a couple of years, yeah. But we have every tool, even large machining tools, compressor. I mean, we can fill our own air in our tires, which is something that we took for granted. Growing
Yeah,
up.
it sucks now. I can't do it.
Yeah.
It's
Now you gotta go to
hard
the gas
find
station
air.
to do it, right?
That is
They're all
kind of
broken.
off. I mean, that feels almost like a Midwest thing because I know, like, I have, like, with my dad, he's got a bunch of tools and shit like that.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
grandfather, I go to old air compressor because my grandfather literally owned a body shop. So, like, all those tools are from that. But, yeah, for someone from Cali, yeah, it's definitely a bit.
It's
It's very
different,
rare.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know anybody. All my friends, I don't think any of their dads are like that. Like our dad was. I mean, maybe they'll have a box of tools like a hammer and stuff, but not to the extent that we had. I mean, we had
Yeah. That entire shelf of, like, every single tool known to man.
yeah,
Power tools.
Besides,
Yeah.
besides maybe
Shelves.
like a entire wall.
Yeah.
Just one wall of
Yeah.
the garage. Yeah.
So that was, I think, very lucky of us, and and also growing up and using those tools and actually
Yeah, it's a huge
having the
benefit.
ability to do that stuff is also rare, and I'm grateful for that too.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are they're remodeling one of the bathrooms right now. We're in the process of, and they're doing that themselves.
Really?
There's
Just doing the whole thing?
not hiring anybody. Yeah, the whole thing.
Really?
Replacing
It's pretty
everything,
impressive.
much.
Even tile work, because I know that's a
yeah.
bitch.
Yeah, my dad's been doing the tile, but we had to move actually the framing, so we had to reframe a section of it, and it impeded on my closet actually, and so we're doing drywall, tiling, everything, so
Whole 9 yards.
plumbing, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Tiling was a bitch too.
it is.
I can do that, but like tiling, I'm not confident in.
It- yeah.
Tiling. I mean, I feel most things that now that I've seen either from my dad do or YouTube channels or just done personally, I'm fairly confident in most around the house. Up to tearing down a wall. I would be confident in doing that.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
it's just physical labor is just the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it is. That is the worst part. That's why I can't play Xbox as much. You're doing all this adult like tiling work and remodeling stuff, and that's where the time goes now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This week I bought curtains,
Yeah.
and curtains, I'm looking around like, okay, I need this. Curtains, I say, okay, this one is $21 for a curtain. Okay, not bad. Oh wait, it turns out I need two of them because it's only a single panel in this thing. And then I need the bar to hang it up on. And you walk out of Target and you're spending way too much. Now that's also because I'm not buying, the most basic thing possible, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
But I'm also not buying the most expensive thing by a long shot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everything
and
is
that's-
very expensive these days.
And then it doesn't include like, did you have to get a screw gun too for the curtains or no? Or do you have
No, it's like a really good, cool looking press rod thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's toolless, but it looks nice, and it was $25. So not bad.
Nice.
But again, it's this thing
Too much
that I
still.
don't have that you by the time you walk out of the store, you're spending almost $100.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so annoying
Yeah.
to the point where you get that. I want to be able to only spend money on things that I
Want.
don't need, right? Because then it's a purchase I don't have to make.
Yeah.
And it's in my mind, it's way better. But if I go out and I go, oh shoot, I need this. To be fair, I also didn't need these curtains, but it's very distracting in the living room without them. So
Yeah. Like, Evan, do you need to buy your own groceries and stuff, or do you help out in that way?
No, I will sometimes if I want specific things, but they buy food, and then if I want to hop in on dinner, then I can. I usually am not here. I go out a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Okay, gotcha.
and sometimes I've been trying to be somewhat healthy lately. So I'll maybe if they're doing a certain meal, I'll just make chicken and rice for myself instead that I would have bought myself. But
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely have a lot of less expenses than
yeah.
Sean does, but still living here. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, that still adds up. I was gonna say, if you didn't have to do that, which I know some people who lived at home and didn't actually grocery shop, that's like just another expense that hit me way harder than most other things. Just $100 every week. There it goes. Like,
Yeah.
it just gets a
Minimum.
little annoying, I guess.
Yeah, minimum.
minimum.
You're also
Yeah.
going for two people though, Colton. I
That's true,
don't
I guess.
spend a whole
That's
ton
true.
on groceries per month, but I'm also one person.
and,
Yeah,
and
I
you
do
eat
eat
ramen and
but-
trail mix for lunch. So
That's true. Yeah, you're still eating cheap.
On the weekends.
Yeah.
For the weekdays, though, I cook all my meals essentially. I mean, and I think that's interesting about growing up. Me and Evan, our parents made they cooked 9 out of 10 meals.
Yeah.
We went out pretty rarely, and I think that carries over to me now on my own because I hardly ever go out.
I think I'm the flip, which is kind of funny and
Yeah.
somewhat
Yeah.
common between
Flipping-
us.
Yeah, you're the flip in most situations. I feel like you get two are very different. Like, as you're saying, you like to go out, right? We just did our personality tests. I don't know if this podcast is aired yet when at the time of recording, but like Sean is fairly introverted, and you seem to be a much more extroverted person, right?
Yeah, I don't think Sean is introverted though. I think you're introverted in the sense of like maybe you stay home and you like to play video games and whatnot, but you're pretty outgoing, and you do the climbing gym stuff, and whenever you're put in a position where you have to talk to people, it's not a problem for you, in my opinion. So
Well, there's a difference between introversion and outgoing.
sure, maybe the thing is that you don't want to do that, right?
You don't want
Maybe
to talk
you're-
to
Well,
maybe
yeah,
you're
I
good
definitely
at-
do not want to talk to
Okay.
people, and I'm good at it, but I don't want to go out. I don't want to, talk to random people. It's like
Yeah.
there's definitely a division there.
Yeah,
but if
yeah, there's a
but
difference.
like you're saying, if put in the situation, I can, and I usually can turn it to my advantage in some form or fashion.
Yeah, I guess when I think of an introvert, they're maybe they shut down in that type of situation, but I think you handle it pretty well.
Yeah.
But I get not wanting
You're
to.
thinking
I
of a
don't-
neat.
I don't mind talking to people. I'll go out and if I'm going to the bar and somebody wants to hop in on a pool game or something and do doubles, I'm fine with that, and figure out who they are and what they do, and I don't really have an issue with that. It's not that I seek it out. I definitely think that I have enough friends as it stands right now. I don't know if I want to expand my social calendar, but I definitely don't mind. I mean, my job, I meet people all day, every day, and I don't really have
Yeah.
an issue with it. Which
Well, I think that's the thing for me is I meet people or talk to people all day, every day. So when I get home, I just don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to do nothing. I want to be just me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have noticed that more after having this job, Sean, is that my social battery is pretty drained when I get home, especially if I had a big day. If I had 5-6 meetings, and I did a lunch and learn the other day, and it was 20 plus people there that I'm presenting to by myself, and it's pretty socially draining because you have to be on and you have to answer all their questions, and so.
Yeah.
Just be engaging.
I'll
Like,
still
that's a
be able
whole
to
other
go
thing.
out. Yeah, exactly, being engaging. But it definitely is a lot more draining. And maybe I'm just getting older and more tired, even though I'm only 23. But sometimes I just want to sit home and do nothing now, when I used to just go out 24/7.
I'm surprised that I was able to go as hard as we did when I went out to visit these guys the other weekend. And we were up till 3 a.m. every night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it was
we
wild.
we
I
closed
don't
out
think
bars.
I'd-
Yeah.
Yeah, we were closing it out every night, which is
That's
fun.
fun. Yeah,
It's a great time.
It's a good time.
Which is nowadays 10 o'clock rolls around and I'm ready for bed. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that.
definitely.
See, but I think the thing
With
is
a
like doing
schedule.
that. I did that recently too. I went to bars in Laguna with my girlfriend and her friends, and same thing. We get home at like 3 a.m, but I was exhausted, right? You know, and like it used to be when I was in high school, I'd do that every night, right? I would go out, but also I didn't have to wake up as early. I didn't have to work.
Yeah.
I just
That probably helps.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just would go to school
Yeah.
and be an idiot, and you know it was fine. And you know you're hanging with your friends all day at school anyways, so
Yeah. I mean, when Sunday rolls around, man, I got to be home by 5. Otherwise, it's going to be a rough
Yeah.
time because I got to make dinner. I got to
Yep.
do all these things
Yeah.
before I go to work tomorrow. Yeah, it's a whole thing now.
Yeah, there's also a difference for me personally. Like, I think I rate as extroverted, but it depends on who I'm with. Because if I'm with friends, I feel like I get pretty energized with discussions and talking and doing stuff. But if I'm with new people, it really drains me more. It really gets just probably because I'm putting on more of a bit of a not like an act, but I'm just trying to be as engaging as possible, depending on the situation. Trying to be
Try to be
attentive, more attentive. Whereas with you guys, it's like it's way more relaxed kind of thing. So
Yeah. I think I'm the only one who's like, oh, new person. Hey, how's it going? And stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
when we
Michael
were hanging out,
actively seeks somebody
there was
out.
just like some dude like it's like, oh, nice. I was wearing like a funny shirt, and he's like, oh, dude. I was like, oh yeah. We just like started chatting up, right? And like,
yeah,
neither
I
of
wouldn't
you
do
would
that. Well, mainly because I just
Yeah,
don't.
I
I don't
never.
care enough about most people.
you're like, whatever, get out of here.
Yeah, fair enough.
But if they're cool and they, you know what I mean. I've had a lot of conversations with other car guys because when I've been driving around my Nova, and most of them are. I mean, you got the old dudes that is, oh, I had one of these in high school, and what do you got in there? And it's the same conversation every single time, which that gets a little
Yeah.
old. But sometimes
Yeah.
it's entertaining, and I gain a lot from it. But I think
Yeah.
one thing that
So what you got in there?
yeah, exactly. Like, oh, you got headers on that thing? It's like, yeah, of course, dude. But one thing that I think I'm pretty decent at is talking with the, staff of a place, or like if I have some friends and my girlfriend even she, dealing with a hostess or a, waiter or there's time lost and there's awkwardness. I'm pretty good at just jumping in there and okay, this is what we want. Yep. Okay. Thank you. And I think this is another topic I actually wanted to bring up with you, Sean, is that I like to move things along, which is the reason that I think I don't have an issue with that. I don't want to sit there and I don't want to sit in an awkward situation, and I just want to get my food, boom, bing, bang, and progress. But this ties into another thing of me spending more money than you. So I think a big thing for me is that I will pay for convenience, right? And that example is valeting a car, right? If there's a huge parking lot and, I got a tight spot that I could fit in a mile away and I could walk and the valet's $5, I'd rather just pay the $5 valet and be right there, boom. Because I think, I always used to view it as a minimum wage in hours, right? If I'm going to spend an hour to park and, also I'm burning gas and while I'm trying to find a spot and, that's what minimum wage in California is, like $15 an hour now. If it's $5 to valet, I'm just going to valet and move on with my life, right? And I think...
What if it's $15?
Huh?
What if it's $15?
To valet?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's it depends on the situation, right? $15 would probably be pushing it, but if...
You also got a tip too.
Sure.
usually.
But it depends on... it really depends on the situation. I also was just at a concert recently. I used to go to a lot of concerts when I was younger, and I haven't really been to a festival until most recently. I went to see Tame Impala, and there was just a lot of drunk people pushing around. There's like the shoving to try and get a better spot, and I was talking afterwards with my friends, and it's like, you know what? Next festival I go to, I'm just gonna buy the VIP, because
Oh, really?
the regular ticket was $350, right?
Mhm.
But the VIP section, which we actually ended up standing right next to, was like maybe $400 or $500, right?
Mm-hmm.
But and the other thing is we also got the preferred parking, which was right outside the venue, and so we brought a bunch of beers and alcohol and stuff, and we would just, instead of paying $20 for a beer in the
Yeah,
for a
festival,
beer,
game.
we'd
yeah.
leave and go have our $2-3 beers, and then go walk back in, and because we got the preferred parking, we were 10 steps away from the entrance, right? So I think
Yeah.
that's the things where it's like paying for convenience is, I think, a big thing for me. If I can make what I'm enjoying go quicker or more enjoyable, I will happily pay. Obviously, it has to be within reason, but I will happily pay for that, better service or better whatever.
I mean, I'll pay for convenience, but probably less than what you would pay.
Yeah.
I'm not walking a mile from a parking spot, but I'll go around a block or two. That's no problem for me.
Sure, and I'm not valeting everywhere I go. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes I will, and and like I said with the VIP for the concert, I don't want to be, I don't want to be in that environment anymore. Of it's just I was getting frustrated and kind of taking me away from the concert, because nobody wants to be around a drunk idiot, right? And it's like I'd much rather pay for that extra, and where I can really enjoy the show, So I don't know. I think why have money if you're not going to use it on things like make your life more enjoyable?
And money's for spending.
Yeah, money's for spending, right? And obviously,
Yeah.
you still got to save and plan for the future and do this, but on the day to day, is $3. For example, I valeted the other day. It was $3, right? Is that going to affect my long term, plan?
No.
Probably
Like
not.
your savings plan. Yeah.
And
I
that's also
gotcha.
not that's what, half a sandwich from McDonald's?
Literally.
So
Yeah, exactly. So it's
Yeah.
small things like that I think there's a lot of people that don't think about it or wouldn't be willing. It's just not in their brain to valet park ever, or to do anything like that. But for me,
Yeah.
But
were you gonna say
are
something?
you, are you also a pretty big hiker though?
No.
Like, okay, that's so that's what I was thinking. Like, maybe that's like, Sean, you're like, I hike and literally do inconvenient things for fun. Therefore, maybe it's something that it's like less of a, like, that inconvenience doesn't have like the same like mental.
That's an interesting
impact,
take on
right?
it.
I don't know. I think
don't
it's
know.
different if I'm setting out to do something. Like, I will hike. It's not like it's not my thing, but there are other things. I'll go to the gym and purposefully strain myself, obviously, to work out. If I'm doing something that I know is going to be strenuous, then it is what it is. I'm setting out to do that. But if I'm if I'm trying to achieve something else, and if I can make the pathway to achieve that easier, for example, if I wanted to go on a hike, maybe if there's some sort of preferred trail, or you get a guide, or I don't know, something like that, I would be more willing to pay for that better experience, or the better hike, maybe the better pass,
Yeah.
than not, right? Just to save money, right?
Huh.
And maybe this is a bad way of living. Maybe I'll end up poor, but
Yeah,
it
it's-
is what it is.
It just depends. Yeah. I mean, I think I was
Yeah.
just raised a little differently. Like, personally, like, from a different angle, I almost never get delivery for like pizza, which is, I feel like if you're paying for convenience, you would like always get that delivery. Whereas I always like take the time to go and pick it up or something like that.
Ditto.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
DoorDash and Postmates are
we get
scams.
delivery-
That's a bit too
See-
far for me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I can't deal with some of those like $12 pizza turning into $22 pizza. That's just a personal
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
I
I'm the
think-
same way.
Pizza specifically is the only thing that we would have delivered because it's usually like included.
Mm-hmm.
But every other thing, like pickup sticks or
Pickup sticks.
any other type of, like, a Mexican restaurant, whatever, we go and pick it up and then bring it back. Sushi,
Yeah, I don't think I've ever used Uber Eats before.
I have.
Not really.
Actually, wait, no, I've used a Grubhub once.
I've
And
used
that's
Grubhub a
because I
couple
got
times.
free delivery because it was my first time using it.
Ah.
And I was really drunk at the time. I think it was at Colton's place.
Oh yeah.
In when we were in college, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, I need food right now. I was like 2 a.m. I need food, and I went, all right, I get a free delivery. Fuck yes. All right. do
I
it.
was also drunk at Colton's place and wanted to see food. It's
Yeah.
usually where I order through Grubhub or something
Yeah,
like that.
I mean, you can always
Exactly,
make a new email, like a 15-minute email, get that free delivery
Exactly, yeah.
every time. I do that. I will do that most of the time.
Scamming
Right,
the
and that's
system.
an inconvenience.
Yeah.
That's an inconvenience to you.
And
to
I'll
generate, like, go
yeah.
through the process of generating a new meal just to get that like the discount, whatever. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I have
interesting.
definitely. I try not to because and they've upped the rates. It's pretty egregious now. I mean, a $10 McDonald's order can end up being like $25.
Yeah.
But
Stupid.
The minimum orders are the worst.
oh yeah.
Mhm.
But I think what the situation where I have done it mainly would be maybe like watching a UFC fight at my buddy's house. And,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
so we don't want to miss the fight. So like, hey, let's just order something. And if you have a group of guys ordering something, that one-time delivery charge gets a little lighter. You know.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
I do that a lot more in groups as well. Yeah, it's a different story.
But right now, it's approaching dinner time for me. I'm not gonna, I'm sitting here doing nothing, right? I'm not gonna order some restaurant here. I mean that's what I say. Even for me, there's limits on.
Yeah, there's
my
limits.
Convenience things, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, but it is a different perspective. I know personally, I was as you're saying, Colton, I was raised super hyper frugally. Like both my parents are extremely frugal. I'm more frugal than both of them. Like, I don't like spending money at all, and like any single time I like
Yeah,
even
that's true.
even like quote like virtual money, like even credit card, right? There's like this physical pain that comes after I see them out. I'm like, which I get.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's a good thing, but at the same time, there's probably opportunities that I've missed because I have not wanted to spend money on certain things.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, think about your guys' Japan trip. There's lots of people in the world that would never do something like that because of the money that it costs.
Yeah.
And I think obviously everyone has their limit, and like Sean was saying, he'll pay for convenience, but probably less. I mean, definitely less than what I will. But I just think that my line is a bit is obviously farther up of what
Yeah.
I'm willing to spend on.
Yeah. And you mentioned the Japan trip too, right? Do you travel too much or not really?
I travel for work nowadays. I like traveling, so me and Sean as kids we went to France, Austria, England. So I've been around several places, lots of states in the U.S. too.
Yeah. But do you like us, right? We tend to, at least, sorry, I should speak for myself, but I tend to, when I'm like dumping money, like you're talking about the $1,000 you're going to dump on clothes, right? That I'm like, okay, I'm fostering that way so I can spend that on a trip experience somewhere, right?
Yeah, and I think obviously
Yeah.
it depends on your current income and what you're currently doing. I think also the $1,000 thing for the clothes, that's like you do that one time and those clothes can last you 10 years. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying
Yeah.
that this is $1,000 every 6 months, so you're going to be spending on clothes, right? That's
Right,
just for
yeah.
Sean's specific case. But yeah, I mean, I'm consciously saving for a trip right now, or a theoretical future trip with my girlfriend. So I just think it's the give and take, and
You, though, specifically about travel, tend not to travel in the same way that I do, and this is at least just my perspective, not want to travel as much as I do. Like we're different in that way.
I mean, and what is an example that you could think of?
I mean,
I'll tell you what.
if you could go on,
I think it's camping. I think that's what you're thinking of. That I don't like to camp as much as you do, and you're extending that over to just traveling in general.
no, there is that too. There's definitely that, but that's a separate
Sure.
thing. Like, I would say, if you asked me, "Oh, what's a place you're planning on going to?" I could name several places off the top of my head that I would go to in a heartbeat. I'm not sure if you had the same thing, or we just haven't talked about that before.
I mean, there's lots of places I would like to go. It's just extremely expensive. And one of my coworkers at work, he travels all the time, and that's he was just in Yosemite for a weekend, and that's what he spends his money on, right?
Hmm.
I have other things I enjoy. One of them being cars. I've spent a lot of money on my 2 cars.
Well, that's the priority also that I'm talking about. Like my priority
Yeah.
for traveling is
Yeah,
higher probably than
and
yours.
I mean, I could travel. I could take trips right now. I have money saved up, right? But I think I'm also
PTO
what's that?
and PTO.
Well, I mean, maybe, but I think I've more instead of traveling, because traveling is a big chunk expense. I'd rather save that for a house or like a long term expense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh, yeah.
And especially because I also have all these other expensive hobbies in the short term. I think
Mhm.
it's kind of travel is kind of forced out the back end. Sadly, because I do love to travel. It's just I mean, like Paris, for example, is one of my favorite places I've ever been. I would love to go back to Paris, especially as an adult now.
Fucking hated Paris.
I love that place.
You actually
Not
hated
many
Paris?
people like Paris. I'm a rarity, I think, in liking Paris. I love that
Yeah,
city.
people always.
I don't think you're a rarity. I think you're because I remember. I think it was Alex and I talked about this. Alex and I were both of the agreements that Paris is kind of overrated. I'm like, it's all right. But
Paris is kind of cool. I think
probably
it's cool.
pissed off some Parisians right now, but
I think Paris. I mean, it has problems like any other city. There's probably trash.
big
There's
city.
homeless people.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't remember much of that from when I was young, but I'm sure it's worse now. It's expensive, but I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, it's romantic, right? You can't it's an amazing city. I mean, I don't know. That's one of my favorite places I've ever been. The catacombs was extremely cool. All the churches.
Yeah.
I mean, we just don't have that kind of history in
yeah. But
the
there's
US.
plenty of other cities to go to.
Sure, but I mean, obviously the name value, right, gives it that added
Yeah.
effect. I mean, not
Well,
So it's all about
as someone
the
who pays
status.
for
It's the
brand
status.
names, it makes
Yeah.
sense you'd like that.
Yeah.
well, it's
Yeah.
history. I really love history too. I mean, some random statue in some random town in France is not going to have the same impact as the Eiffel Tower. It's just not.
I'm not.
right.
I'm not talking about random statues. I'm talking about like you go to like Prague or Frankfurt or other cities that may be less expensive and maybe you're right, less status
Yeah.
than this mythical Paris. But
Well, I'm not saying like I
are
would.
still pretty
Paris is
amazing.
one of the many places I would like to go. I want to travel the
Yeah.
whole world eventually, but Paris is definitely one that's stuck in my head as I really enjoyed it, and I would like to be able to go and check out like bars and stuff in Paris as an adult. But yeah, I mean, I would really like to go to Vietnam. My girlfriend is Vietnamese, and my buddy also went to a whole kind of Asian tour. He went to Thailand and a bunch of other places, and his footage from that was amazing, and I'd really like to see that. And those are super cheap places. I feel like actually
Yeah.
one of my fallback plans for life, if one day I'm just over it or anything like that, I'm just gonna sell everything I have and just move to Thailand, because you could probably live the rest of your life off I mean, this would be in 10, 20 years once I actually have a
Yeah.
decent amount of money, but when he was there, a full meal's $1.
Yeah, you could live there for
Yeah.
very cheap. Yep.
Yeah, and he met.
One of the things I really want to do is like buy a and it's similar to what your friend did. I think go fly there, buy a motorcycle, and do a whole little tour.
Yeah,
and
That's
then
what he
just
did.
Sell at the end.
Yeah, he bought a
That's what I wanna
motorcycle, and he met a guy that was actually from California, and he moved out there when he was, I think it was either 45 or 50, with either $2 or $3 million. Not a ridiculous amount of money, but obviously a decent amount of money. And he was retired ever since. He was probably in his 70s when he met him, and he'd been living there off that money the whole entire time, and hadn't
Yeah.
worked since, And
Yeah, just chilling.
it's
yeah, and now with remote work too, you could literally just
Yeah, you might
I'm
be able to
out
get
there
some-
at 30
exactly.
and
Mhm.
work from there for 20, maybe less years, and then just go for it, and you'd essentially retire at that point, and you'd have enough
Yeah.
money saved up.
And
Obviously,
you'd
you'd
be
have a lot
living
less
like
expenses
king,
there.
You know what I mean? If
Yeah.
it's not living in a one-bedroom apartment, you'd have a full-blown. I mean, same in in Nicaragua. My friends took a trip down there a couple years ago, and there was a beachfront, essentially small villa / mansion that they were staying in. Had a swimming pool right on the sand.
Mhm.
Perfect tropical weather, great waves, and I think they said the house was like $300,000 or $400,000.
So
You know,
wild.
and it's just
which in California prices is like nothing, and
Yeah.
even like where I'm at is still like
Yeah.
you wouldn't get a ton for that.
yeah. I mean,
I'm in
every
probably the
home here
least
is $1
expensive
million
area.
for your average suburban home, if over $1 million.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that Nicaraguan home, based off the pictures I saw, would be a $4 or $5 million home at least here. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just wild. So I've seriously considered moving to somewhere like that and getting money here, and then in the back half of my life, you know, just getting out of Dodge and retiring in some
Not a bad
tropical
plan.
place.
Yeah.
All right.
Not a bad idea. If I could retire anywhere, it's probably gonna be Ireland. For some reason, it
calls to you.
It calls me.
Yeah.
You know,
It calls to you.
like a small
Your Irish heritage.
Irish town, just with like rolling hills around it. That's all I want.
I gotta say, have you talked to some of my extended family because they live in Ireland now. They're Czech, but they live in Ireland.
I thought you were
There's a
saying,
little market
Sean,
nearby.
So I thought you were saying in your latest podcast, or at least the last one I listened to, that you were glad that you didn't move to Ireland.
I am. I think it. Well, I think it's silver lining of not moving there. In hindsight, was very good. That doesn't mean I don't want to still go there at some point in my
Sure.
life, and I think it'd be a great retirement spot because, I mean, if it's the same as it is now in 40 years, then I'll be happy. I think.
Also, I think we're more Scottish than we are Irish, so it's not, you know.
Either or, I'll take both. They both have nice rolling
Yeah.
hills. I can probably understand the Irish a little better.
Maybe.
Yeah. I feel like
But just something with a nice little market nearby. Go get my groceries. I cook food.
Dude,
You know, I have a
that is
TV.
the dream.
That's
though.
all I need.
you
You
got
guys,
your
I don't need
OLED
anything
TV.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah, just have a nice TV.
I can't figure out if when I get older, you know, because I really like cities right now and I like being around a lot of people and a lot of busyness. I can't figure out if I'll grow out of that eventually or if I'll want to still be in the like a bustling area. Because right now, like a small little country, like town, just does not. I could not imagine something like worse. Honestly, like I don't like the small towns personally. But
Right now, I don't
like. I
either.
can see the appeal, but man. I just feel like I don't know. I keep thinking I'll grow out of like city life, but it keeps getting better every year. I'm just like, wow, this is better, or I enjoy it more.
I think if I'm this bad now in terms of not wanting to deal with people and just being at home, in 50 years I'll be a recluse. Like I don't want to talk.
You're either a hermit. You're like,
Give me a little cottage on an island. Well, no, that's too far because I need to have access to like a bookstore. Or Amazon. If they
Yeah,
have
right.
that,
Yeah.
I'm good. If
you're
Amazon
like
can
Obi-Wan
airdrop me
Kenobi.
stuff by the time, then I'll move to an island.
I feel like
okay,
you guys are both like you need some social interaction though. Like your parents
Yeah.
are both pretty good examples of keeping a good social life post like I don't know kids. Whereas we've talked about this before. Like my parents aren't great. They don't have like intense, like really good social lives post. You know, me and my brother moving out of the house. I feel like I don't know. I'm just kind of talking to my house, but I feel like you guys would both like come to want that, just knowing that like that's what you've grown up with and kind of had.
That's fair.
I don't know.
That's when I convince everybody else to move to the town in Ireland
Yeah.
with me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, guys,
Yeah.
I found a town we can buy.
Yeah.
Let's go.
dude, I'm
Yeah.
100%. I'm 100% down for that, dude. Because
Yeah, okay.
I'm worried about myself because
I'll run the bar.
You're
We'll
right.
all come over.
See, that
That's great.
dude, yeah.
that could be good. Like if you could just be going home, kind of recluse at home, but
Yeah.
then during the day you own a bar, and that's how you get your kind of your social interactions and
Ah.
stuff.
Yeah, it's like Cheers, man.
Yeah, I mean, talk about our parents being social. They just went to left
They're in Paris right now.
Friday
There it is right now.
to,
Wow.
to France with like 10 and 12 friends.
Well, 6.
They're
friends.
just gonna 6. All right, that's still pretty good though.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
they do.
I-
I mean the childhood group I'm sure Sean has told you that we grew up with was
Mm-hmm.
30 to 40 people. So it was very unique, and I'm grateful for that. Getting the diversity of people and just the amount of a commotion going on at Christmases
Yeah.
and all that type
Yeah.
of stuff and random events. You know,
Yeah.
people, kids' birthdays and. But yeah, I think the ranch life definitely appeals to me as well.
Yeah.
I've had a plan with my
Interesting.
buddies for years to we all want to buy a minimum 100-acre ranch and each build our separate homes on it where we don't have to see each other, but if we want to, we can hang out and
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Just
just
dude
all
ranch.
go get a
yeah, dude
bonfire
ranch.
going.
I mean, obviously, hopefully, we'll have our wives there too, so it won't be
Yeah.
a pure dude ranch, but just
Yeah. It wouldn't be a sausage
yeah,
fest
exactly.
ranch.
Yeah.
It'd be
Yeah.
a
Ram
dude
ranch,
Yeah.
you know.
But I
Which is
we'll go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna explain. Dude Ranch is like a ranch you'd find out in like middle of like Montana, Utah. If you ever seen the show Yellowstone, that's probably the best example of it. Right? I'm trying to explain for people who aren't familiar with that, right? Because a dude ranch is a very
What the term
American
is.
idea,
Yeah, sure.
I'd say. Yeah.
But I think I want to be in a small town, with like a one diner in the town type thing. But that's 2-ish hours away from a big city. So that if I want to go and see some real people,
You know, in
Yeah.
in the movies when someone always, usually in a spy movie or something like that, when everyone wants to get away from or hide out, it's always the same type of small town, right? Oh, I've been living in this town, like what you're saying, it has the diner and it has the general store and everyone knows each other, right? That's usually the...
It's a town of 500 people somewhere up in the hills of Montana.
that's
and
the
you're
vibe
like, all
that
right.
I want. And my goal would be to. It's got to be a good diner. I'm gonna have to taste the diner before I buy the house there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pie. You gotta try the pie,
Exactly.
man. That's
As soon as you find the right diner, you go, this is it,
Yeah,
and you go to
and
the
then I
real
gotta
estate.
find a ranch around there. But then I want to, I want to
Yep.
have my various cars, classic cars, and I'll just every day drive a different car
Oh,
to the diner, and
really.
you know,
I was expecting you to like I'm just gonna take a horse. Just I'll take a horse.
That'd
To
be
the
horse
town.
sick,
too potentially.
actually.
Nah, he likes convenience,
sick.
Michael.
Well, a horse is pretty badass.
horse are not
so
convenient.
that's the
horse
badass
is
to
pretty
fucking
convenient
bad.
ratio. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You come in there with your cowboy hat, your long rifle, lever
Right in
action.
the
My
Clydesdale.
designer
Exactly.
cowboy
Oh,
hat. Right.
Yeah, right. You're dripped out in Gucci.
Yeah, my Gucci
all
cowboy hat.
Gucci cowboy.
My Ralph
Yeah.
Lauren
The
cowboy
shades
boots.
on. Yep.
I feel that. I don't know if I'd want to be 2 hours away though. I feel like an hour or less would be ideal. Maybe 30 minutes. Like right now where I'm at, I'm about 30. I'm like only 15 minutes from like a decent sized city, but then like I'm like 30, 45 minutes away from a much larger city with like an international airport. Like my main thing is I want to be close within an hour's drive at least of an international airport.
Oh, an airport.
So I
Yeah.
can I can get out of Dodge and I can like, I want to go on a trip. I can
Yeah.
go here.
Smart.
That's fair.
I think though the thing you have to think about is the closer you are to a bigger city, the more expensive it's going to be, and the less I'll be able to find that ideal, beautiful rolling hills.
Well,
ranch.
100 acres, yeah.
Exactly. So I'm not going
Yeah.
to get 100 acres, 20 minutes from Dallas or something like that. You know what I mean? So it's just
20 minutes from
Yeah.
Dallas, you're not going to be outside
exactly,
Dallas.
exactly.
Yeah.
So 20 minutes from the edge of Dallas, but so that's why I'm saying 2 hours would I think be a sweet spot where it's not stupid far away, but I could still find a decent property.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully
Yeah,
at least.
I feel that. I just want to be able to like walk down to my local like grocery store within 10 minutes. Like I like Sean's idea of just like, oh, I can walk down to the grocery store, get what I need, walk back. Don't have to worry about like taking a car or anything like that. If I can take a horse, sure, why not? I'll take a horse.
Yeah, that would be cool.
But
And I'd like it to be fully self-sufficient, right? I want to be able. It's got to have elk or deer,
solar.
a river,
The
ideally
buffalo
with fish, chickens, vegetables, everything. I just want to be
Chickens,
solar panels.
Yeah.
I want to be able to
get
Go-
eggs.
close the gates.
Mm-hmm.
I like how you're going from like city, right? Like all the way down to like the country idea.
Yep.
Right. Have you even spent like a ton of time like on something like that, like a ranch or a farm like that?
Our family has a ranch that we spent some time on, but as far as like living the ranch life, I would say no.
Well, they didn't have a ranch, they have a farm.
Yeah, I mean, okay. If we're getting
I think
technical,
there's a difference between a ranch and an arm and a farm.
I mean, they
right?
have thousands of acres of actual farmland that's used. But yeah, but I don't think it would be that bad. I mean, obviously it's going to be hard work, but this is for a plan if I'm retired, right? I mean, the dream
Yeah.
plan would to be to have real estate and live off the, monthly rent of those properties, and just my whole day is taken up by tending to my animals and tending to the garden. Now other than that, watch a movie or something at night and just kind of chill and use everything to cook my meals. And that's kind of like also a fallback thing. Obviously, I would go out and do stuff, but if anything hit the fan, I could
just hunker down,
close the gates, and hunker down. So that type of stuff is appealing to me.
That's definitely opposite of what I want to do.
Yeah.
Classic.
In terms of retirement plan, it's completely different.
Yeah, I like how you guys are like like very opposite of each other. Like
So
you're
Michael,
similar in a
you're
lot
an
of
only
ways, but-
child, right?
Yeah.
I
And
say
Col-
right for the viewers.
Yeah.
I know you're an only child.
And Colton, you're almost in a lot of ways. Well, you got your younger brother. Never mind.
Colton keeps bringing up siblings I never knew he
I have
had.
younger
Yeah.
brother and then
Like,
2 older
my
siblings.
My 2 older brothers. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really don't know how me and you ended up so differently, Sean. And we're also both different from our parents. We obviously have
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're
quality-
actually very different from our parents.
Yeah, well, we have qualities. Each of us have qualities from our parents, but it's interesting. And I think Colton, you were mentioning earlier, or Michael rather, that your parents were really frugal, so that's why you're frugal now.
Yeah.
For my parents are pretty frugal, and I'm the exact opposite. And Sean's even more frugal than my parents are, probably.
Yeah.
So
And-
it's like
Also, neither of you are artists. That's the thing that blows me away. Both your parents
Yeah.
are like extremely like artistic. and
Well,
stuff like that.
Evan, as a kid, was a lot more artistically inclined.
Yeah, I would draw a lot,
me.
and I've painted some things. I actually have a painting right over there that I could show you guys. But I'm not saying I'm a great artist, but I can do some art, and I have, and I would like to do more. That's one of the things I'd like to do on the ranch is kind of get back into painting and
on the
on the
ranch.
Do
on
some
the ranch.
beautiful landscapes of like Wyoming or
What are you
the fuck
gonna?
they
Are you
yeah.
gonna be
paint my
Dolores on the ranch?
Oh, well, hopefully I don't meet Dolores. That's how things have gone south. I didn't lock up the ranch tight
Yeah.
enough. But
Is that a Westworld reference right there?
Yeah.
Westworld?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I prefer to enjoy the beauty in the
Right.
world or something like that.
Yeah, but I don't know what it is, and I think we have a lot of like share. I mean, obviously, if it comes down to us, if there's a SpongeBob reference to be made, me and Sean can both make it like right off the bat,
We'll
and we'll
both
laugh
make it,
about
you
that
know.
and family stuff. But it is interesting how different
Our
we are.
humor is fairly similar, I would say.
Yeah.
And we have a roughly similar video game interest.
Yeah, although you were
TV
never a
and
big
stuff like
first-person
that.
shooter guy, and I was and except for Halo.
Not huge, just
Yeah,
Halo.
but I was always big into that.
I'm also way more into like sci-fi fantasy stuff.
Yeah, I'm into that as well. I think I was just thinking about it though. I think Minecraft is a good example of how, because there's so much you can do in Minecraft. I mean, I like to build and create.
You still play
I still do.
Minecraft.
Yeah, and I actually just started my own server. But you were always like downloading the nuclear mod and the crazy crafting mods.
Yeah,
where
the
you're
engineering stuff,
mods,
yeah.
and I think that's a good. I was doing more of the just building medieval castles and stuff and trying to make a cool like world, and I think that's it's
Yeah.
with
Yeah, with the available stuff already
sure,
there.
but like within the same game, that kind of gives you a look into our each different personalities. It's pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember for a long time we shared a game room.
Yeah,
Because your room currently at one point was the game room, and we had our computer in there, and we had a big TV in there, and the Xbox and whatnot. So if we weren't playing a game at the same time, usually one of us was playing it on the computer, like on RuneScape, and the person was playing something else.
Yeah.
And I this is a random childhood memory I have, but there was I cannot not think of the game Dead Rising
hmm
when a certain Kesha song comes on. I
really.
don't remember what it is now.
That seems very random.
Because you would play it all the time when I was playing Dead Rising at that point in
I
my
would
life.
play a Kesha song.
Like it
It was either Kesha or Lady Gaga. It was
was through iPod, not through a game song.
It was from the computer.
Okay.
Through iTunes when you had to pay per song, probably.
Yeah, through iTunes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was probably Lady Gaga. I don't know if
How-
I was ever into Kesha.
It might have been Lady. It was probably if I think of the song during the
send it
podcast,
to me.
I'll say it. But
Yeah.
it comes on and I go, oh, that's I think it's Just Dance.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, but I didn't know if you would know any Lady Gaga songs, so I didn't. But that was probably what it was, because I love that song.
Yeah, that comes on and I'm immediately killing zombies in my head.
Well, and that's
Yeah.
that's funny because of Mom. She was a big Lady Gaga fan. She made that meat dress.
But you played the song.
I know,
though,
but
that's the
I'm
thing.
saying
It's like, you played this.
I liked Lady Gaga because she liked it.
Yeah.
And I mean, both our parents have pretty good music taste. Actually, I'm grateful for that too. Because now we have
Our
a
dad was a
diverse-
big into music, and we have a giant music collection because of that. I have a really big music collection, just like of actual media. And then we both listen to music a ton.
Yeah. Well, you're starting
Like,
to
you're
write
saying
you're-
your
I
records
would
now,
say.
right, Sean? Slowly.
Yeah, you can see them all over there. I've quite a few now.
That's actually
Evan, were you an EDM person as well, or you? I mean, you said you were a metalhead too.
Yeah, I kind of went through each stage, like each phase, and now I've kind of accumulated them all, and I just go and
Collect
Cycle
them
through
all.
them, yeah.
yeah.
The Affinity Stones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
collection.
literally. So I had a metal emo phase. I had long hair, like down to here, and I dyed it dark brown.
Yep, I remember
Yeah, that was
that.
the whole thing. Really into like Bring Me the Horizon, stuff like that, and Pierce the Veil, if you know those bands, and
Yeah.
much more. But I was more into the OG dubstep era, like when that was popping off. I don't think it was really referred to as EDM back then. Now I feel like that's
No, it
kind of but basically dubstep, whatever that was, I liked that a lot. But now I listen to a lot of various EDMs. I don't like the crazy, wah, 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 like wild stuff. I like more of a trance type dance stuff now.
Yeah.
A little
yeah.
slower.
Yeah, just more like vibey, like you kind of imagine yourself in like some like underground German
Like chill
club
step
or something
and stuff
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
House.
Yeah, like house dance and trance.
Like not
pretty much.
Skrillex.
Not Skrillex, yeah.
Not
those
Skrillex, yeah.
vibes anymore. It's funny that you mention that though, because same as Sean, when I think of Skrillex, I think of playing Battlefield 3 or 4 and like flying a jet around. There's a certain
yeah.
Skrillex song that comes on, and I think about that. But
That's
yeah, I
funny.
like it all now. I like reggae, obviously classic rock. Who doesn't like that? I'm big into rap. I had a rap phase too. Yeah, I just love it all. It blows my mind people that are only into one genre of music or one genre of anything really.
Yeah, that is weird if you're that secluded into it.
You're also really big into rap as well. Keep going, Cole.
I was gonna say
there's like a lot of genres you're into. Evan.
interesting that you say no one likes classic rock because okay, you guys like kind of absorbed your musical preferences, I feel like, from your family, but for me, I know my dad burned pretty much all 80s and 90s and 70s tunes in the car basically until I was like out of the house, and I feel like it was so played that it almost had a negative effect on me, if that makes sense. Like I
Interesting.
actually don't I don't despise all the classic rock hits, but I'm very passable on them. Like the rock genre stuck. Like I liked, a lot of when I was listening to like rock, it was like 2010s. So I know the first like rock band I ever listened to was what was it? Skillet, I think. It's like that Christian band.
Skillet's a
Yeah.
Christian rock
They're a
band.
Christian rock band, yeah. So, but yeah,
pretty
from
good.
there I started. Yeah, they're good.
No, yeah, they got some hits.
But I got into more just general rock music from that. But classic rock never actually stuck with me. Like I think I like one Def Leppard song that I'll put on repeat. And then,
Yeah, that's funny.
but from that, it's weird. It did not stick. My dad loves Rush. I feel like I should like that band, and it's like just okay to me,
I feel that my dad and I have somewhat taste, but he like a lot of the stuff he likes. I'm in the same way, like almost mute to.
Yeah.
Like my dad is a huge Def Leppard fan. And I'm like, Def Leppard, okay, it's cool, whatever, right? It's almost like you've been overexposed to it.
Yeah,
where it
that's-
kind of like burns out those neurons, and you're just like, all right, it's just how it is.
That's
but
how
like,
I think
something
it
like,
is.
Like my dad is not a huge Rush fan, and I fucking love Rush.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So like it's almost like you find like everything outside of that, or I think the only thing I'd agree on, and Sean's going to castrate me for saying this, is I'm not a huge fan of Stairway to Heaven Or
I was going to bring that up. He doesn't like Stairway to Heaven,
yeah.
one of the most perfect songs of all time.
Then that's the classic meme of like if you can't play Stairway to Heaven at a guitar store or whatever because it's overplayed. I don't mind that, but I think it's it is a beautiful song and it's one of the greatest ever made. And I think even if you don't personally like it, you should be able to
You should respect it.
Like
yeah.
I can respect it.
I mean, it's
but
popular
I
for a
would,
reason.
I would
right?
never actively listen to it. Yeah,
I don't listen to it either. I'm a big Led Zeppelin fan. It's rare that I would put on Stairway to Heaven, But
Yeah,
when
like,
I
I
do,
like Kashmir.
yeah, Kashmir or whatever. When I
Yeah,
I like
Kashmir's really
Kashmir
good.
much more than Stairway to
when I
Heaven.
hear it though, I'm like, oh yeah, Stairway to Heaven. It's a classic, right?
There's also sometimes when you play it and the situation is so perfect. I remember coming back when I was in Michigan for school. I was coming back from like a long drive and just on the highway, no one else around, and it was just cold. It was cold outside, but cold enough where I could put the windows down and blast my heater, and it was like perfect. And
Where like
I
your
was
top
doing
half is like cold, like you're breathing cold air, but then everything below you, like your chest, is like really nice and toasty.
probably about that.
Yeah,
And I was cranking Stairway to Heaven when it came on. I was like, oh yeah, the vibe was so strong. I thought there's a lot of music I think that is intensified in certain situations
Oh, for sure.
or belongs in certain situations.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the reason why I like everything is, I like all types of clothes, all types of music, all types of cars. I have would like to own a lowrider one day, for example. And my dad thinks that's hilarious. He's like, oh, they're not, but I just think that certain days you wake up and you're feeling that kind of like 70s rock, Metallica or whatever, some metal,
You put on the leather jacket.
yeah, and you
know,
you
like,
gotta
"Ah,
get
alright,
an
let's
outfit
go."
to match. Maybe like right now I'm wearing a Metallica sleeveless shirt, right? Like, if this is the vibes of the day, maybe I'll hop in the Nova, right? But if I wake up and I'm feeling kind of like cool rap, whatever, then I'll hop in the lowrider, wear an outfit to match. I like everything, and it's it's kind of
I'm actually surprised you don't like Starset because I've recommended them to you several times, and
are they a band?
they're a rock. Yeah, it's a band, but my favorite
Is
band.
it
One of my favorite bands.
is it the anime vibes?
No, it's rock. It's like I think they call it quote unquote new age rock, but it's rock. They do a little bit of screaming sometimes.
I'll have to check them out again.
It's great. They have 4 albums now, and they're all stellar.
And did you say
Which is a pun because they're also kind of planetary themed in a
did
way,
you,
like
did you
spacey
say, Sean,
themed.
that you knew the band that I sent you the other day that played at that festival I was at? Or
I didn't know them, but I listened to
Oh,
some
you
of them.
liked
He
them.
sent me a Japanese. How'd you describe it?
so
like,
the
chill
the,
rock.
The festival that I went to is kind of like a psychedelic rock festival, right? So I don't know if you guys are
Psychedelic.
familiar with Tame Impala, but they're a psychedelic rock band, and
Yeah.
they're called like Kayugaki, or what was the name of the band, Sean?
Let
some
me
Japanese
look
band,
it up.
They went on right before
It's a long
Tame
name.
Impala. I didn't know who they were. I heard a little bit about them.
Kikagaku Moyo. Kikagaku Moyo.
Yeah, and they blew me away. They were like Japanese
Good
Grateful Dead, or like something like they're very psychedelic rock. It was amazing. I'd highly recommend anybody check them out. But almost
Nice.
yeah. You have to drop the link in Discord.
yeah, I will. Well, Sean, you can if you know how to spell it right there. I could look right now, but yeah, really
I'll show
really
the
blew
band.
me away. And normally, if you're not there for the band that's playing, you're kind of like, oh, whatever, this is not who I'm here to see, right? But they really caught my attention. They had great visuals. Apparently, too, this is their last tour ever, and they're retiring, even though they're all young. They're doing like some
Oh wow.
stint tour. They've done their piece, and they're retiring from music, apparently.
Interesting, huh?
Holy shit.
I think it's really cool to go out and find those. And that's one of the things that would keep me going out.
Yeah, yeah.
Is being able to find these random encounters that I would otherwise never have seen. I was at a small like music venue several weeks ago, and there was these people playing that just for some reason, something about them caught. Like I was really enjoying how they were singing and what they were doing,
Mm-hmm.
and I was to the point where, and I don't do this. I hardly ever, if there's a musician on the set, this is kind of not really cool of me. But if there's a musician on the side of the road or a band performing, I don't ever give money or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But this artist, I heard it and I thought, where is their like Venmo sign? Where's
Yeah.
a thing? I want to give them some money because it was so good. I would have bought an album of their stuff, but they didn't have anything. So I had to Shazam, or I had to go on the Instagram page for the venue to see who they were.
Mm-hmm.
And then I could finally find out, and they're a band called Moodlight, but it's Moodlite, and they only have 4 songs on Spotify, and if they ever release an album, I'll buy it. But super good. I don't know how to describe it, but the singer's voice is really amazing.
Okay.
Like how so?
I don't know. It's just it's a good
ethereal?
voice, and it's like a kind of eerie. I wish I knew the genre of music that they sang, but it was just good. You have to look
Good
up. I'll post that, and you can listen to a couple of their songs.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right on.
That's really cool.
But for some reason, that came up, and I thought, yeah. Or we've been to Weenie Roast at one time, and it's a
Weenie
pretty
roast.
popular concert. And there's like a couple small stage, like they have a small stage and the large stage. And at the small stage, there was several people that were up and coming at the time that I would have never have heard because I don't listen to the radio. I don't listen to hardly most things, right?
Yeah.
To discover stuff. So it's really cool to experience that.
Yeah.
Those random
Yeah, that's how I
encounters.
feel. Have you ever listened to Krongbin, Sean? Have I ever? I showed you them. I'm sure you've heard it from me playing them, but they're super chill, super relaxed band. And I'm assuming the other
I
two
don't know if
guys
I've
haven't heard of
heard
them
them.
either. But I'll put them in the chat too. But they have grown immensely popular. I've heard them in like grocery stores and stuff now. From when I first saw them, I used to go to school in Humboldt State in Northern California, and I went to go see a band that was playing in the school theater called Chicano Batman. And they're a somewhat decent sized band, but they're playing in some random college in 13 hours north from where I am now. They're not.
Right.
It wasn't a crazy big band, right, to begin with. And then these guys were opening for Chicano Batman. They're called Krongbin, which apparently means airplane in Thai, which I've learned after the fact. But
Okay.
they went on and just completely blew me away. I mean, it was such an amazing, so relaxing, such great music. The guys really talented musicians. It's a 3-piece band. And if I had, missed out on that, I mean, I probably put so many people onto that band now. I mean, I tell everybody about that band just because I think it's the
Yeah.
type of music that everybody can love. I mean, I've gone to several of their shows now, and it's the most diverse crowd you'll ever see. There's young people, old people, every race. It's a pretty amazing to see because it's just such easily digestible music.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And I don't remember what point that Sean was making that made me think of that, but I think it's nice to go to those smaller shows sometimes and just find out things that you would never see before. Sometimes they're most of my favorite artists are things I've found in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I actually regret.
There's so much.
Go ahead.
I would say there's so much content generated every second, minute, day that it's impossible to find it all, which is a bummer in a way, because there's so many diamonds in the rough that I'm never gonna see.
Yeah.
It's a tough competition out there. Yeah.
I don't know if you got a finishing point there, Evan.
I did, but then I got distracted, and now
You said it's like such a shame.
Oh yeah,
that,
I was gonna say I actually was able the bass player in that band is a female. She's amazing, and in between their set and then Chicano Batman's set, I went out to the kind of front area, and she was standing there at her own merch booth, right? And I went up. I was not necessarily in the right state of mind. Okay, at this
Yeah,
point,
yeah.
so you understand. And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
went up to
yeah.
her and
I mean, it's festival, right?
sure,
So-
and I was like, hey, when is the next band going on? And then she's like, oh, I think another 30 minutes or something like that. And I said, okay, great. I really needed water, so I was like, I'm moving on. I got 30 minutes to get water, right?
Yeah.
And then looking back on it now, I mean, they're a huge band. I'll never get that opportunity again to talk to her about her music. I'd have to pay for a meet and greet or something like that. You know what I mean? But they were such
Yeah,
a small
yeah.
band at that point that she was just standing there. Nobody was at her booth talking to her. You know, it's just and now I look back and then I'm like, man, I wish I had taken that opportunity to.
Why did I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, get an
Used it
autograph,
properly.
something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, exactly. I should have bought a shirt.
It's almost like investing. It's like investing in crypto, right? It's like, oh, like
She might pop off.
2 years down the line, it may just be like this insane thing, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
like, oh.
And I you know, I mean, in my defense, like I said, it, you know, wasn't necessarily thinking straight, but, you know, still, it's just a funny memory of that particular show.
That's really cool.
But yeah, I'll link it in the chat for you guys. So you can check it out.
Yeah, for sure. I like new
Definitely do,
recommendations.
I think that's probably a good place to end this episode on our music diversity and all the stuff out there in the world.
I will say that maybe, but we have to ask the real question here:
Oh, okay.
is how do you cook your steak, Evan?
This is the guest question. This is actually how we
It's
do
always
it.
the guest question.
I don't. I will use if I go and order a steak, I will just say, however the chef wants to prepare it is how I will take it. I don't think I usually,
But at home,
I would
like-
say probably medium well or medium rare, if I had really had to do an
Mm-hmm.
answer. I don't know if that's satisfactory.
So yeah, how do you actually cook? Like, do you put it on the grill, pan
The
fry,
preparation method.
Oh,
like, how do you actually cook it? Yeah.
On the stove, on a
Well,
grill,
probably
in the
grill if I was
oven.
to do it. But I don't cook steak that
Yeah,
often.
grill steak's probably the best steak.
Okay, gotcha.
But grill is the best, right? I mean, is there a debate about that?
There is a debate
always a debate
about
about it.
how we cook
there's-
steaks. There is a right answer.
so much
Colton
of a
thinks
debate.
you put a steak in the oven.
Yeah.
don't
That
know.
is the right answer. If you don't have access to a grill, you pan fry it, sear both sides, then you put it in the oven and cook it to your temperature. That's how you have the most controlled option. If you have the equipment, you grill it, then you broil it. That's like the pro method.
Well, sounds
most
like you know
people
what
don't
you're
have a
talking
broiler.
about, so I'll trust your
Yeah.
opinion.
See, there you go, Sean and Mike.
Well, I don't know if Evan is the most trusted source on this.
Yeah,
He's not
If we
expert.
ever get a professional chef on
I
the
order my
podcast,
steaks. I don't.
Right,
I
we
don't
need
cook
to.
them. Sadly,
Yeah, right.
Convenience.
You order them.
Convenience
He
coming
pays
in.
for
Yeah.
convenience.
I can tell you where to order a good steak, but yeah, I don't know how to cook
Yeah.
it.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yep.
next time you go out, though, ask. We'll figure it
Yeah,
out.
maybe. Oh, Sean, you got to look at my Instagram story today. By the way, I had a super dank brunch.
I actually don't follow you on Instagram.
What?
Wow. The truth comes out.
Why?
The truth comes out.
I just never did, and then I forgot, and then I just don't.
Okay, I don't believe that.
This has been years down in the making.
Oh, our parents
Yep.
posted a very cute post on their Instagram today.
In Paris. That's
Yeah, they're living the dream. And I
Lovely
got the house
Paris.
to myself, which is amazing.
Wow,
Oh, that is actually pretty nice.
I
I
wish
bet.
I was on that trip.
Yeah.
Oh my god, when they said they were going, I was so jealous. I really want to go.
I actually borrowed a decent amount of my
But-
clothes too, which was funny for the trip.
That is kind of
He
funny.
took my brand new,
Are you guys the same size?
roughly, yeah. He took my brand new Lucky sweater that I was just talking about. So I hope he doesn't lose it.
That's
He
funny.
owes
Yeah.
me,
That's
he owes
funny.
me 150.
Yeah, I feel that. My dad always steals my fucking socks because we have, one socks are basically the same.
That's
Yeah,
a
that's a
weird
little bit
thing
more
to
weird.
steal.
That is
I
a-
don't
that
know.
is a
That's
bit
like
I don't know, I
straight
wouldn't take
underwear,
that.
No,
you know,
because-
that's like
because
Yeah.
no, it's just like they're the same, right? So like I'll do a load of laundry and then he'll like he'll finish the load, right? And I'm like, where did all my socks go? I'm like, oh, I got them. And like, dude, these are my socks, and like they look
Yeah, why-
identical,
why-
right?
I don't
Why-
think I'd want to
It's
wear
just
another
black
man's
socks.
socks, even though
Yeah,
I know
that's-
they've been
that's not
washed.
quite-
It's fine, but I'm good on that.
Yeah. The same thing, right?
Yeah.
Pants, maybe. Shirt.
Shirt's fine.
Yeah, pants and shirts fine.
I'm also not big on
Sweater-
sharing
sweater's
though.
fine.
Like
Mhm. So yeah, like
my
over.
stuff
Actually,
is
no,
my
no, no.
stuff, you know.
Shirt's kind of weird because it's like pit stains and like sweat and all that.
Yeah,
shit, especially on
I
undershirt.
can
Depends on the-
see it.
And
I
socks
guess.
are
Yeah,
better?
exactly.
Oh no, socks are just as bad.
Shoes are questionable.
Dude,
I think shoes are fine.
I don't like him stealing my shit.
Shoes
what
are
are you
fine.
talking about? I'm not like advocating for people to steal my for him to steal my socks.
It sounded like you were cool with it. This is something. It sounded like this is something you guys do. Is share
Not
socks.
classic
Who has-
dad.
No,
was-
not at all.
Sharing my socks.
Hey, Dad.
Oh, Dad's wearing my
He's got
socks
black.
again.
No, I want him to stop doing that.
Interesting.
Oh, okay. That was funny. That was good. Thanks for coming on the podcast,
Yeah, it was
Evan.
really fun.
Yeah.
I would do
It
it,
was- it was a
again
good
for
time.
sure.
If you have any more rebuttals, maybe next year. Yeah, we'll have you
Yeah.
on in a year.
Yeah, write down what you don't like, and then maybe we
Yeah,
can.
we could do it.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna keep a ledger this time, and for
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just Evan's beef. That's all we gotta
Evan's
try to
beef.
do.
That's
Yeah.
the title.
yeah. All right,
All
well, that
right.
was super
Well,
fun.
this has been almost a podcast. Thanks for listening, everybody. One day we'll get there. Have a good night.
Bye.
Peace.
That's,
Bye-bye.
I don't know. My intros are usually real quick.